It's July, and USC football is still waiting for its recruiting to heat up.
You are Locked On Trojans, your daily podcast on the USC Trojans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Fight on, everyone. I'm your host, Mark Hulkin, and thank you for making Locked On USC your first listen every day, whether you're watching me on YouTube or wherever you download your podcast. We are free, and I appreciate your support. You can show your appreciation for the show, and it would mean a whole lot. If you're watching on YouTube, become a subscriber. Hit that red subscribe button. It's that easy. And also, don't forget to hit that thumbs up. And because I don't want you to miss one episode Monday through Friday, hit that bell notification button. I hope everyone had a really solid weekend. And I want to welcome everyone back for another week of Locked On USC. So far, the USC commitments in July, the month hasn't been quite as hot as the month of June was for USC. But July is a long month. I'm recording this episode. You're watching this episode on Monday, July 10th, because you're making it your first listen every day. So I'm just going to get right to it. I'm going to kind of rip the Band-Aid off over the recruiting weekend and kind of go over where we're at. Just a little bit of an update. So as I predicted last week, and despite the late flurry of predictions and crystal balls that were rolling in for Michigan State and Dylan Williams, the Long Beach Poly linebacker, he is the one who was flirting with taking an official visit to USC when the dead period ended. He decided just to go ahead and pull the trigger. He chose Oregon over UCLA, Michigan State, and Miami. As I predicted last week, Oregon was going to be his school choice, despite all those predictions for Michigan State coming in late. And look, it's not a significant loss for USC, but you kind of hate to see guys who said they dreamed of playing for the Trojans, wearing the Cardinal gold one day. You hate to see them end up elsewhere, and that's what happened here. And it seems like there was some hurt feelings involved also. Look, I mentioned the whole Todd Orlando effect when it came to Dylan Williams and his recruitment. Basically, Coach Orlando showed zero interest in Dylan when he was in charge of the Trojan defense. So Alex Grinch and Brian Odom, linebacker coach, they've been trying to play catch-up ever since they arrived. On Friday, Williams made it official. He became an Oregon Duck when he announced where he plans to enroll in college. But he also had a veiled parting shot for his hometown school. At least it seems that way. Because in his commitment tweet, he said, quote, "If you play defense and you want to stay on the West Coast, you go to Oregon. It's that simple." End quote. Okay. Look, USC's defense in 2022 kept them out of the playoffs. But let's not pretend that if they had the Ducks defense, it would have been any better, because it wouldn't have been that much better, if better at all. They wouldn't have had the turnover ratio, the plus-minus thing. And, let's keep in mind, Oregon, defensively as a team, they gave up, 386 yards per game. That's fourth best in the Pac-12. USC was seventh best. They gave up 405 yards per game as a defense. That's 20 yards, roughly. I don't know. I use the eyeball when I'm judging things, and Oregon's defense in 2022, it was just above suck, because USC's defense was right below that line that you spell S-U-C-K. But look, I'm just kind of pointing that out, highlighting that for Dylan Williams. And I don't know him, but Oregon likes to pretend that they're on equal footing with USC, and they're not. they also like to pretend that they're a blue blood program, and they're not. So I don't think Dylan chose those words to put in his commitment tweet. So I'm not sure I really understand putting a player in that situation. It's kind of dumb, especially with the transfer portal kind of tugging at these guys all the time. Look, as you can see on the rundown, we're going to talk about recruiting for this first segment. And I said it was going to be a rough weekend. Dylan's announcement was anticipated, but I think everyone was kind of holding out hope for modern days Xavier Brown, that he would become a Trojan. Heading into the weekend, I kind of let everybody know that it was leaning towards Alabama. Well, Sunday afternoon, Xavier made it official. He made it clear that he wants to be developed by his dream coach, Nick Saban. Quote, Bama's proof is in the pudding, and I can't wait to be a part of the history and the culture. I just felt like there was a unique opportunity being presented, and I really felt at home out there. Also, I have a great connection with the coaches. I grew a great relationship with Coach T-Rob, Coach Wiggins, and Coach Sam Petidio. Also, I had great talks with Coach Saban and my family, and it reminded me a lot of Coach Rolo. He's referring to his former high school coach, Bruce Rollinson, at Mater Dei. This is what he told On3's Chad Simmons. When I went out there as an underclassman, I spent time mostly with the coaches, Brown told On3. During my official visit, I got to see what the lifestyle is like, hanging around the players and the facility. It felt more and more like home. Reminder, Xavier didn't grow up in Southern California. He moved to California from Texas. Now, everything that was just said there, it's almost hard to imagine hearing a player make say the following words. It was almost a juxtaposition when he compared to what ultimately swayed his decision instead of staying home at USC. They get, quote, these are Xavier's words, they put you in this light and again, I'm quoting it, they get put into this light that it's just a factory. They don't care about you. They only care about the play on the field. So I think what he was trying to say is there's no I in team mentality. Still, he knows what he wants. And you kind of have to support the young man's choice of Nick Saban over Dante Williams. Look, I'm a big fan of Dante, but Nick Saban, he has the history on his side. So maybe Xavier sees more. He prefers Nick Saban because he sees more Bruce Rollinson compared to Lincoln Riley. I don't know. I'm just kind of throwing stuff right now. See what sticks. And let's be honest. Lincoln Riley and Bruce Rollinson, they're probably not very similar in personalities. I think Nick Saban is closer to what Xavier is familiar with. But the weekend wasn't a total downer when it comes to USC recruiting news. Xavier's teammate, Aiden Breland, he used in his own words that USC is going to be among his top 5 schools. The number 1 defensive tackle in the nation was at the Winter Circle, kind of like the IMG Academy on the West Coast. And he was taking part in a trench games with Jordan Campbell and Kenny Clark, Trojan and a Bruin. So among Aiden's top 5 schools, he mentioned USC, Miami, Georgia, Oregon, and Texas A&M. So I have a feeling it's going to be USC or Oregon versus the rest of the field. That's just my feeling on the matter. And here's what USC fans can feel comfortable with. His decision is coming down the road. If USC's defense looks better than it looked last season, then the Trojan chances go way up for his commitment. Here's the other known date we have in July. I don't think Aiden's going to be making any commitment anytime soon. What USC is waiting on, with a date out there, July 23rd, Kingston, Viliamu, Asa. We know USC is battling Notre Dame and Ohio State. Those are the final three. Kingston's a game changer on the field. And if he can pull that trigger and he picks USC, that could go a long way in helping secure Braylon. It'll lend more confidence to Aiden to kind of, hey, you know what? I'm going to stay home too. I don't need to go across the country to play football. And then one last piece of recruiting news here. Top USC linebacker target, Chris Cole, state of Maryland. He put out a top 8 list. USC is in it. And he's planning to take an official visit. So, there you go. That's where we're at in the second week of July with as far as recruiting is concerned. Again, long month, 31 days. Pac-12 Media Day is a couple weeks away, scheduled for the 21st. And then fall camp opens up for USC just a handful of days later. Wow. There you have it. There's your there was your weekend update, including recruiting and what to look forward to in the month of July. What you can look forward to is putting on your bird dogs. Because it's summertime, and that means it's time for you to put on your bird dog shorts. Oh, by the way, I'm wearing mine. Hope you can see them. Really cool. Yep. Got them on. Bird dogs make you look good because they're designed to fit slimmer through the thigh. So if you got that soccer leg, they're going to give you that sculptured look. They're not going to feel real tight. And bird dog shorts do the exact same thing as Lululemon, but they fit way better. And they definitely fit way better than regular shorts that are made of that stiff, restricting cotton. Bird Dogs also uses anti-stink, anti-sweat wicking fabric, and that's going to keep you cool and dry all day long during the summer, and you're not going to smell. And there's no trading places. I like wearing my Bird Dogs because I look good and I feel good, especially when I'm wearing them. So go to birddogs.com/LockedOnCollege, and you're going to get a free Yeti-style tumbler with your order. That's birddogs.com/LockedOnCollege. Use the promo code LockedOnCollege for a free Yeti-style tumbler. You won't want to take your Bird Dogs off. I promise you. So, quick reminder for all of my everyday listeners and viewers, and you need to become an everyday viewer and listener. The location is Cabrillo Landing. It's located on the harbor next to Cabrillo Beach Yacht Club. That's where I'm going to be Tuesday. You need to be there too. It's a big courtyard, beautiful view of the boat. Excuse me. And if you want more information on the Tuesday Trojan Club, go over to Facebook, Trojan Tuesdays. I'm a part of the group. When you head out there Tuesday, there's going to be appetizers, beverages, great place for networking. And if you're a member of the club, it's free. Check that out. So get over there soon. RSVP, because it's going to run out soon. The event takes place from 5:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. I'll be doing a Q&A sometime around 7 p.m. Look forward to seeing you all out there. All right. Enough about me. Let's get back to USC. Which freshmen that flashed last year are going to have a bust-out season as a sophomore? Look, as fans, everyone gets excited about the new toys that kind of arrive with each new recruiting class. Happens every year. The anticipation level for players like Zachariah Branch and Deuce Robinson, it's palpable. But look, that's the pressure that comes along with being the number one player recruit at your position. You know what they say, heavy is the head that wears the crown. These players are looking forward to it. But let's not forget, the 2022 recruiting class had some big-time freshmen in there as well. And a couple of them are going to need to step up their second season, their sophomore campaign, if they don't want to get passed over by the new guys that are coming in. Raleek Brown is one guy. In 2022, he had to play behind veterans at running back Travis Dye, Austin Jones, Darwin Barlow. Those guys were ahead of him. And then in 2023, Travis Dye has moved on, but Austin Jones is still around. Darwin Barlow is still around. And, they brought in newcomer Marshawn Lloyd from South Carolina. And he is impressing everybody. So perhaps Brown isn't on the list if he didn't have if he didn't get injured his freshman year. He got injured in the first game of the season, but that was after he put up 76 yards on offense. You might remember he posed for the Heisman when he scored his touchdown. Yeah. Well, Raleek finished his freshman year with 227 rushing yards, 175 yards receiving, 517 kick return yards, and 6 total touchdowns on offense. This season, he's going to be lining up in the slot as a receiver more than he will be in the backfield as a running back. So last week when I was talking about the USC wide receiver room being disrespected and, kind of slotted at number 6, sixth best in the nation by Pro Football Focus, I didn't even mention Raleek Brown's name. That's how deep a group of receivers USC has to work with. Zachariah Branch is getting more attention, and don't forget, Raleek was the it guy in last year's class. So I don't think he needs to have a bust-out season, but I anticipate him being one of the sophomores to really take that next step. Because I have to believe that Lincoln Riley has some really cool plays designed to make Raleek Brown a household name in his second season. So here's a question. What's the difference between a redshirt freshman and a true sophomore? Your answer? One played enough games to earn a letter on his jacket. The other didn't. Pretty much it. USC returns 4 redshirt freshmen from last year's roster. Zion Branch, Devin Tompkins, Garrison Madden, and Carson Tabarachi. USC also has 9 true sophomores and another 12 redshirt sophomores. So overall, combine that whole group, that's 34 players that I could be choosing from right now. That's too many, way too many. And the redshirt sophomores actually belong with the juniors anyway. They're third-year players. So Anthony Lucas, Damani Jackson, and Fabian Ross are the only guys that are listed as true sophomores. And those are the guys that should anticipate seeing playing time. The redshirt freshmen you have to think about are Zion Branch and Devin Tompkins. Zion Branch came in with a lot of fanfare. We know he needed the year to get that ACL recovered. Devin Tompkins has been getting a lot of talk during the offseason. Coaching staff loves the way he's developed. The weight room has been his friend. So if USC is to have any bust-out guys from their sophomore group, long-term, the future is bright. Short-term, that means the defense has got a lot of depth, and they're going to be a part of the rotation. So if I'm going to pick 2 guys, not named Raleek Brown, and they play on defense, I'm going to go with Damani Jackson and Anthony Lucas. They're both true sophomores. Damani, he's healthy, he's ready to play, and he's ready to play a lot. The rush end, look, that position needs a guy to step up. And look, it's either by hook or crook. Roy Manning and Alex Grinch, they're going to make that happen this year. They have to. They don't have a choice. So, did I miss it? Who among the group of sophomores, redshirt freshmen, are going to have their bust-out sophomore season? If I didn't mention a name, I picked out Raleek, Damani, and Anthony Lucas. There's a lot of names out there. Give me your feedback. Hit me up in the YouTube comment section. Tell me who's going to bust out as a sophomore? We need to know. So, before we get out of this episode of Locked on USC, I got some odds and ends notes, stuff that took place over the weekend. I thought you might be interested in. For instance, did you know that Caleb Williams now has a Dodger bobblehead? Yeah. Over the weekend, he was at Dodger Stadium. He has his bobblehead replica of Caleb Williams. There you go. Superman, yeah, he brought along 6 of his Justice League defenders with him, offensive linemen. They got to head out to the bump, to the mound, while Caleb threw out the first pitch. Justin Dietich, Gino Quinones, Jonah Monheim, Michael Tarquin, Jared Kingston, and the massive Emmanuel Pregnon. That dude is huge. All of those guys were on hand to watch Caleb go through the windup, and then he threw a pass that missed the plate. Yeah, by a mile. Wild pitch. I don't know. Maybe you want to blame the catcher, call it a pass ball. I'm going to be honest. It was a wild pitch. But Caleb Williams is not pitching for USC. He's playing quarterback, and we are all appreciative of that. And the guys he brought along with him to enjoy his day, they are appreciative as well. That's one of the ways that Caleb gives back. He keeps his teammates involved in all of his personal success. Just another day in the life of a USC Heisman winner. One day you're off in Monaco waving the flag, getting a Grand Prix started. Another day you're off in Washington, D.C., throwing out the first pitch for your hometown team, Washington Nationals. Later in the summer, there you are. You're on the mound at legendary Dodger Stadium, throwing out the first pitch while you're getting your own bobblehead. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen in Norman, Oklahoma. Good choice. Another thing that I saw over the weekend, Eric Gentry. He doesn't like to pay attention to social media, but I think he's getting tired about asking or hearing about his weight or the lack thereof. He's heard enough about his lanky body playing linebacker. Well, he actually took to Twitter and he said, "Stop asking if I gained weight. I've gained 23 pounds since January." Okay? We're going to take him at his word. He continued, "I don't like social media, so I don't care to post my progress. ... August 26th, y'all will see." You know what he's saying? Make sure you're out there. Game 1, you'll see what I look like. Here's what I love about Eric, and this is what the staff loves about Eric. His length gives them so much versatility. On defense, I mean, when you drop him into coverage at that middle linebacker spot, try throwing over the middle, over the top, down the seam. I mean, with that length, it makes a quarterback's job really difficult. You make that window between the linebacker and the safety that much smaller. And if you want to use his speed off the edge or in a blitz package up the middle, that could be lethal. I mean, his height, his length, his long arms, his speed, those are assets. So speaking of, adding a weight that Eric Gentry doesn't want to talk about anymore, did you see a picture of Caleb Bullock over the weekend? He is all yoked up, and there is a significant difference between Caleb Bullock end of the Tulane game and fall camp, which is right around the corner, 2023. I mean, WOW, wow. Caleb looks like a different dude. Some other stuff. The freshman class, those guys that weren't around for spring camp who are who have trickled in, who are enrolled in summer classes so they can partake in player-run practices. They're starting to show off their new uniforms. For instance, Cade Eldridge, he'll be rocking number 88 this year, tight end. Micah Banuelos, offensive lineman. He's got number 59. I like that number. What about offensive lineman Amos Talalele? Looks like he's going to be wearing number 75. Pretty cool. Now, Mekhi Lemon, he was around. He just wasn't available. But he's going to be wearing Tyler Vaughn's old jersey number 24. And all you Deuce Robinson fans, check him out. The big wide receiver / flex tight end, whatever you want to describe him as, he's going to be wearing number 19. He'll be easy to spot out there. So, yeah, there you go. Just some odds and ends, stuff that happened over the weekend. This July is a really slow month when it comes to USC football. The coaches are all on vacation. It's dead period. So, I talked about at the top of the show. We know we've got some commitment dates coming up. We know who USC is still after, who they really want. So you're just going to have to keep tuning into Locked on USC, because I come at you 5 days a week. And that way, you'll know what's happening every time. I'll keep you updated. So again, don't forget, Tuesday, I'm going to be out there at the Trojan Club. Tuesday, Trojan Club. You head over to Facebook, make your reservation. Look forward to meeting all of you. I'll be back with another episode of Locked on USC tomorrow, because 5 times a week, that's what we do. So until then, everyone, you know what to do.